Hello BookTube. Today I'm doing part 9 of my science fiction and fantasy library tour. Let me move my notebook out of the way real quick. So first I have The Traitor God by Cameron Johnston. I previously talked about this book when I did my version of Has Steve Read It tag. I really enjoyed this book. Picked it up either late last year or very early this year. It came out last year, late last year I think. Really enjoyed it. I'll probably do a book review or book discussion of The Traitor God either after this video, or I'll do a joint discussion with the next book I talk about, which is God of Broken Things, the sequel to The Traitor God. I think it came out earlier this year. So far I'm about 107 pages to go before I finish it. Loving it so far. We'll definitely be talking about this book tomorrow because I should be finishing it tonight. Really fun book. Next I have Soleri by Michael Johnston. Picked this up from, I want to say, Better World Books through Libris. This is one of those books that I have a weird relationship with, in that there's just something about it that calls me to it, but on my first reading, or in this case, 2 readings, I never quite got into it. I mean, I think that might have something to do with the opening chapters and kind of what I feel was maybe not the wisest sort of opening on Johnston's part, but I will eventually read this book and make something of it one of these days. Next up I have 2 more, well, they're omnibuses, but they're more Conan pastiches. This is Robert Jordan's The Conan Chronicles from Tor. This is one of the series of Conan pastiches that Tor released in the late 80s, early 90s. So this is the ones by Robert Jordan, and this version has, see if I can find it, Conan the Invincible, which I think I've read. Conan the Defender, I definitely think I've read, and Conan the Unconquered. I think I've read all of these, and really rather enjoyed them. Hopefully I will get to these again soon. And then I have the follow-up, The Further Chronicles of Conan by Robert Jordan. This is a former library book from Bellwood Public Library, which does not say where exactly it is. It's from, well, I mean Bellwood Public Library, but where exactly is Bellwood? So this one has Conan the Magnificent, Conan the Triumphant, and Conan the Victorious. Again, looking forward to reading more and collecting more Conan pastiches. So, since I just touched on Robert Jordan, we all know what's coming next. The Wheel of Time. Starting with, The Eye of the World, The Great Hunt, The Dragon Reborn, The Fires of Heaven, A Crown of Swords, The Path of Daggers, Winter's Heart, and Knife of Dreams. Most of these, or almost all of these, I picked up from the Friends of the Library book sale alcove. Honestly, I've only actually read one of the Wheel of Time novels. I want to say it's Path of Daggers. I think I've read that one. And I thought it was okay, maybe a little bit over long. I mean, obviously they're possibly longer than they need to be, but yeah. So hopefully I will at some point find some time to actually break out and read The Wheel of Time. So moving on from Robert Jordan and the J's, we now move to the K's, starting with Fate of the Fallen, which I will probably be talking about in more depth after this video. This was the third book I read for December, and I didn't like it much. I mean, the premise is fantastic. What happens when the chosen one is killed before the adventure really begins? The problem is that it's, yeah, I don't know if it's maybe not dark enough for me, or it just, like, yeah, there's too much sort of uninteresting progression before getting to the real meat of what goes on. So, and I don't particularly think Aslo is really that interesting of a protagonist. And then there are also gods interfering, and while on the one hand they're kind of the most interesting characters in the book, they're also sort of like, why exactly are they here? I mean, it just, I don't know. So I'll talk more about it in my next video. So following off from Calcade, we have two books by Alex R. Kaler, Rune Binder, and Runebreaker. So these are YA fantasies, that post-apocalyptic fantasies where at some point magic returns to the world, certain people gain magical abilities, and certain people are either turned into demons or demons are suddenly unleashed upon the world. And a group of young people have to defend civilization, well, what's left of civilization, against these demons. And one of the in this book, one of the young wizard defenders is 10, who becomes embroiled in a gay love triangle between another hunter, Jared, and a demon called Tomas, who reappears in the sequel. I didn't particularly care for this book. YA isn't necessarily a genre I really find all that appealing. And I generally don't find YA all that appealing as a genre. Although I do think there are some good ideas. It's just, I think the execution bugs me somewhat. Anyway, so those two. And I haven't gotten to Runebreaker. Next, I have two books by Guy Gabriel Kay. Tigana and The Lions of Al-Rasan. No, that was the first, that was book part 9 of my science fiction fantasy tour, and the first of the shelves that my brother, of the bookcase my brother built me. So now I need to go film the Calcade review and put these books back up. Thank you, BookTube.